distance is equal to RT, okay? Where D is equal to distance, R is equal to rate, and T is equal to time. Now, in your book, okay, this 1 year, they're going to call the rate speed, because realistically that's what the rate is. It's your rate of speed is what it's called. But in this book, they're going to use speed, and so their formula will look like this. Distance is equal to speed times time. Okay, that's what their formula will look like. Okay, and so as we look at this, okay, I want to show you a couple of different things on how we can come up with a little bit of a different formula for each thing that we're looking for, okay? So let's say we had this. Let's say our distance was 20, okay? And let's say our speed was 4 miles per hour, okay? But we don't know how much time it took, okay? Our speed's 4 miles per hour, so obviously our time is being done in hours. If that was 4 miles per second or 4 miles per minute, then our time was done in minutes or seconds. Okay? Now, how would I solve that? We had chapter 12 where we talked about solving equations. This is just an equation. That's this equation right here. 20 is equal to 4t. So they're saying 4 times something equals 20. Okay, how would I solve that? Remember we talked about inverse operations. You're supposed to do the inverse operation to things. How would I solve it, Jonah? Multiply speed times time. Yes, that's how we would come up with a 20, but since we're missing time, how do I solve for time? How do I come up with time? What do you think, Brandon? By what? There you go. That's what you got. You're going to divide each side of the equation by speed. Okay? And then that would give you time is equal to what? 5 hours. Okay? So, the formula to figure time, if time is missing, the formula is time equal to distance divided by speed. Okay? In other words, if I told you I was going to have to drive 400 miles and I can drive 100 miles per hour, might be dead by the time I got there, but if I drive 100 miles per hour and I'm going to go 400 miles, how many hours is it going to take me? 4. If I'm going 100 miles per hour, that means in hour 1 I go 100 miles. Hour 2, I go 200 miles. Hour 3, I go 300 miles. Hour 4, I go 400 miles. Okay? And so you simply divide speed into the distance to get the time. Okay? So we have that formula that you're going to have to use today. Okay? We have the original formula, distance is equal to speed times time. And now we have a third formula. If we want to find... let's see, distance, time, we got speed. If we want to find speed, we simply divide distance by what? There's only one thing left. Time. So that's your third formula. Okay? Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. Those are the 3 formulas that you're going to use today in these problems. Okay? Now, where most people make their mistakes in these problems is they put the wrong label. Okay? So it's very important that you realize what you're looking for and then you put the correct label with it. Obviously, speed would be miles per hour, kilometers per hour. Okay, that's an example of a label. These are labels, obviously, for your different things we're looking for. If you have distance, well, distance is one that can be quite a few different things. It could be miles, it could be kilometers, it could be meters, it could be feet, it could be yards, okay, it could even be inches. Okay, those are all labels that we would use if we were looking for distance. And then obviously time is easier because it has seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. Okay? You obviously, in time, we all use the same unit of measurement. Whether we use metric or standard measurements, we all use the same one. Okay? So, those are the labels that you will have most often with your answers. If you don't have the label, if you just put a 5 and it's supposed to be 5 miles per hour, then you're going to get it wrong. Because if you just put a 5, okay, I don't know if it's 5 miles per hour, 5 minutes, 5 hours. Okay, there's many different labels right there that we could use. All right, so let's look at an actual problem that we're going to solve for today. Okay, let's look at problem number 1. Let's start right there at the beginning. Problem number 1 says speed equal the big box, D equal 225, T equals 5 hours. And distance is in miles. Make sure I record that. Okay, so even if you can't remember the separate little formulas, okay, hopefully you can memorize them. Okay, to find speed, what do I have to do? Jonah? Divide distance by time. So we have speed equals distance divided by time. Okay, we don't know speed, so that's going to stay our S. Our distance is what? What is our distance? There we go. Good. We can read the screen. Okay. What is time? 5 hours. Okay. Now, this right here, this, along with this, and the bar tells me that my label is going to be miles per hour. That's going to be the label in my answer because I have a miles over hours. So miles per hour. Okay. Now, the other part is to divide 5 into 225. That goes 4 times, be 20. Remainder 2. Bring down my 5. 5 into 25 goes how many times? 5 times. That would be 25. Remainder 0. So my answer is 45 miles per hour. That would be the speed in which I am traveling. Not very fast, especially if you're going 225 miles. 5 hours would be a long time to do that. But, hey, some people drive slower than other people. I've never been accused of driving slow. All right, let's look at the next one. First couple ones here are fairly simplistic. Number 2. Number 2 says speed equals 300 miles per hour. Distance equals blank. Time is equal to 6 hours. Okay, so what is our formula for distance? Somebody besides Jonah. I know Jonah's up and awake this morning. Probably had a good breakfast. What did you have? Pancakes? What did you have? Wait? Your dog messed up? What? Oh, okay. I thought you said your dog messed up your toast. I was like, what? How does your dog mess up your toast besides eating it? Okay, so somebody besides Jonah, give me the formula for distance. Staley. Correct. Distance is equal to speed times time. You need to memorize those formulas, folks, because they will not go away. You'll see them in every single grade from now to the time you graduate. Distance is equal to speed times time. Okay? So, now just fill in the parts that I have. Do I have distance? No, that's why we're using the distance formula. My speed is 300 miles per hour times 6 hours. Okay? Now, distance, we're going to use something like miles, kilometers, feet, yards. So all I got to do is multiply. What is 6 times 300? 1,800 or 1,800. And that's 1,800 miles. So that's a fairly simplistic one. The distance ones are the ones I like because they just, all you got to do is multiply. No dividing, no solving, no nothing. Just multiply it out. Okay, so we have found speed. We have found distance. So guess what the next one's going to try to find? Time. Okay, so we have time. So number 3 says 20 miles per hour. Distance, whoops, that's speed. Distance is equal to 2 miles. Time is what we're looking for. Now, let's logically think through this. If I'm going 20 miles per hour, okay, let's think about that. I'm going from here 0 hours to 1 hour, or 1 hour. I go 20 miles. But it says right there on the screen that I went 2 miles. So let's logically think through this. If I'm driving 20 miles per hour, I'm in a school zone for a whole hour. That would be bad. Okay, I'm in a school zone for an hour, so I have to travel 20 miles per hour. But I got tired of it and only went 2 miles. So did I travel for a full hour? No. I didn't travel for a full hour. I traveled for a certain amount of minutes. So I have to find out how much that is. Okay? So, what is our formula for time? Time is equal to what? Yep. Time is equal to distance divided by speed. Okay? Now, this one's a little harder because you're going to end up with fractions. Okay? And I know how much y'all love fractions. So, T equals, what is the distance that I traveled? 2 miles. And what is the rate of speed, or speed? Read the screen. 20 miles per hour. Okay? Now, that is, time is equal to 2 over 20. Well, what does 2 over 20 reduce to? What? 1 over 10. Okay? So that's 1/10 of an hour. Well, if I divide an hour into 10 equal parts, how many minutes are in each part? Divide an hour into 10 equal parts. How many minutes are in each part? First of all, how many minutes are in an hour? Come on. 60. Wow, all right. We remembered that. Okay, so 60 minutes are in an hour. So if you divide 10 into 60, you get what? 6. So there's 6 minutes. It took 6 minutes to go the 2 miles. Okay, remember, 1/10 of an hour, there is 60 minutes in 1 hour, so I divide 60 by 10 to find how many? Minutes So what if it was 3/10? What if it took 3/10 of an hour to go those 2 miles? How many minutes would that be? I feel like the Jeopardy music needs to be playing. If 1/10 is 6 minutes, how much is 3/10? No, good guess. What? 18. Because if I have 1/10 is equal to 6 minutes, I have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. 6 minutes, 12 minutes, 18 minutes. Okay? So 3/10 of an hour would be 18 minutes. All right? So, let's look at another example. Let me get one that has some fractions already in it. Yes, there's one. Number 8. Number 8 already has fractions in the problem. So we're going to go speed is equal to 45 miles. D is equal to blank. And time. Time is equal to 1/3 of an hour. Okay. This one you don't have to do a whole lot to. It's not real hard. But we do have to know what distance formula is. What is the distance formula? Read it off your notes. Distance formula? No, not distance. Yeah, speed times time. Okay? So distance is equal to speed times time. So distance we don't know. Speed is 45 miles, and time is 1/3 of an hour. So all we have to do is multiply. All we have to do is multiply 1/3 times 45. Well, that means we do the Jimmy Neutron. 45 over 1 times 1/3. We look at Jimmy Neutron here and here. What common factor is between 3 and 45? 3. Yeah, 3 is the common factor. So 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 45 15 times. And so my distance is equal to 15 times 1 on top, 1 times 1 on bottom, which means distance is equal to 15 miles. All right, I want you to try number 5. Try number 5 on your own. This was number 8. Try number 5 on your own. And I'm going to come around and check the answers. All right, let's look at this one. Number 5 says, speed is what we're missing. Distance is equal to 60 miles. Time is equal to 2.5 hours. Okay, so the formula for speed is equal to distance divided by time. And these formulas are in your book if you for some reason leave your notes or something else. All these formulas are there. Good morning, Miss Comfort. Okay, so we had distance over time. So that means we have speed is equal to 60 over 2.5. 60 over 2.5. Now, 2.5 that's your mathematics. Okay, can we have decimals outside of the bracket? Nope. So we have to move them. We have to move it one place to the right. Same thing on the inside. One place to the right. So that gives me speed is equal to 25 into 600. Okay, 25 goes into 60 two times, be 50. Remainder 10. Bring down my 0. 25 into 100, 4 times, be 100. Remainder 0. So speed, remember we got to have the correct label here. We were dealing with miles and hours. So that would be 24 miles per hour. And that would be your answer. Okay? All right, let's look at, there's a good one, number 10. There's a goodie. You got all the fractions you want in it. Brandon's just excited, man, he is flying, ready to roll, do this problem number 10 because it got all these fractions in it. Do you have pancakes today? You didn't? Do you have anything? What do you have? Toast. See, I knew somebody had toast. Somebody had that. Anybody have any pancakes this morning? Xavier, you had pancakes and you didn't bring many? No. Do you have blueberry pancakes? No. Just regular pancakes? No, I had chocolate. Chocolate chip? Ah. Do you put strawberry on it or syrup? Yeah. I love getting pancakes with strawberries. Strawberry, that's good stuff. You have a ton of strawberries, and you didn't bring me any? Wow, what kind of friend are you? All right, so number 10, back to reality, math. Number 10, I've even got it circled in my book. That means I probably put it on a test somewhere. Sorry for y'all. Speed is equal to 1/4 miles per hour. Wow, snail's pace there, tortoise. It's tortoise versus the hare. Distance is equal to, this ain't going to be that hard. Distance is equal to blank, and time is equal to 3/4 of an hour. It's not that hard. Fairly easy. I thought it was hard, and then I see they're wanting distance. Anytime you're trying to find distance, that's easy. That's just simple multiplication. Distance is equal to speed times time. So distance is equal to 1/4 times 3/4. Okay? Now it's just simple multiplication. Oh, yeah, okay. Distance is equal to, can't do the Jimmy Neutron on any of it. There's no common factors. So I just take 1 times 3 on top, 4 times 4 on bottom, and that gives me D is equal to 3/16. And oops, let's not forget our correct label, miles. Yes, Jonah? Can you? What's the common factor? Okay. Yes, Daly. Yes, if it was, let's say it was 6/16 instead of 3/16. If it was 6/16, you would need to divide it by 2, the top and bottom. and make it 3/8. So yes, you always, same thing. Anytime we're dealing with fractions, you always reduce them. If they can be simplified, we simplify them. Okay? All right. Your homework. I know Brandon thought he wasn't going to have homework tonight. He thought he was in somebody else's class besides Coach Smith. 16.3. We're going to shorten this up a little bit. 4 through 14. Okay, and then we're going to do a couple of problems from 16.2 that we did yesterday. Okay, not going to be a whole lot. There's going to be a couple of problems. We're going to do (16) through 23. Okay, so you have 2 assignments, of which we've done quite a few of. Okay, Staley? Do 16.2 first, yeah. Put them in order. 16.2, do it first. 16.3, do it second. That way, since we had, I know it was yesterday when we had the materials, so just in case you forgot, we can ask questions. So, go ahead and get started.